Given a preference table, in this video we're supposed to choose which of these election methods is not going to result in a winner. Okay, so let's go through each one at a time. Majority, the majority election method is where somebody needs to get above 50%. And if you add all these up, 55 plus 47 plus 26 plus 34, that makes 162. So half of 162 is 81. So you need to have an 82 or greater votes in order to win with the majority method. So Moore is the highest. Moore has 81. Now it's close, but no cigar. The majority criteria does not result in a winner. Now, board account, go ahead and check out that video about board accounts if you need to know what those are. It's kind of like a point system. I've already done it for this one. This one results in a winner if you assign points and use a board account. Plurality is just like majority, except it doesn't necessarily have that 50% criteria. Okay, so plurality, does anyone win if we just count out the first choice voters? And Moore definitely wins. He doesn't get 51%, or he doesn't get above 50% of the vote, but Moore does win because he gets above 50%. Pairwise comparison. Okay, this one's kind of brutal, but you're supposed to compare Moore and Gibson, Moore and Harris. Wait, are there only three? Moore, Gibson, no, and then Moore and Palmer. Shoot, so that means we got a lot. Now we got to compare Gibson and Harris, Gibson and Palmer, and then you've got to compare Palmer and Harris, and I think that covers everybody. Okay, so again, check out the video on pairwise comparison if you're not sure what's going on here. But what we're doing basically is we're just pretending there's nobody else other than Moore and Gibson. So looking at this ballot, Moore wins. So that's 55. Let's just count out Moore. Looking at this ballot, Gibson wins. Looking at this ballot, Moore wins. And then looking at this ballot, Gibson wins. So if you add up Moore's votes, 70, you get 81. Ooh, I think that's exactly halfway, right? So they're tied. Gibson, if you add up Gibson's votes, they're tied. So that means both, let's make a total down here. Gibson, Harris, Palmer. They both get half a point because they tied in the final total. Okay, and then you compare Moore and Harris. So Moore, if we just count up Moore's votes, Moore gets 55 because he wins this first election, or she. Moore wins this one. Moore wins this one. So now it's clear Moore is going to win this election. So we'll put a 1 down here. And then comparing Moore and Palmer. Moore wins this election, so Moore gets 55. Palmer wins this election. Palmer wins this election. And then Palmer wins this election. So actually Palmer wins this comparison. Okay. So comparing Gibson and Harris. Gibson wins. Gibson wins. That puts us well above the 81 threshold. So Gibson's definitely going to win that comparison. Gibson and Palmer. Gibson wins. Gibson wins. Ooh, so that's 90. That's above. Gibson wins these two elections when compared to Palmer, the first two. So those put him above the 81 threshold. So Gibson's going to win that one. So we give him a point. Now, Palmer and Harris. I think it's clear that Gibson's won, right? Gibson's got 2.5. You know, even if Palmer wins, or even if Palmer wins, you can't catch Gibson. So basically, we just did the pairwise comparison real fast. Okay, so check out a video if you need help with that. But we found winners. Okay, the final one, plurality with elimination. This is the one where you just look at the first choice voters, and if you don't have above 50%, you eliminate whoever got the least amount, and then rerun the election. Okay. So Moore gets 81. Moore does not get above 51%. Moore gets exactly 51%. So that means we got to eliminate Harris. Harris was the lowest amount in the first choice of voting. So now 34 votes are going to go to Palmer in the next election. So if you run the second round, we have Moore with 55 plus 26, that makes 81. We got Gibson with 47. We got Palmer with, Palmer picked up all of Harris's votes. So Palmer gets 34. I think just 34, right? Yeah. Because Moore, Gibson, Moore, Palmer. Yep. so Palmer's eliminated from the second round. In the third round, now that Palmer's gone, Morris still gets their 81. But Gibson wins this one. Gibson gets 47. Then Gibson gets another 34, so it's a tie. So we just found out plurality with elimination does not result in a winner.